If there's something this generation of gaming has missed out on, I would say it's the variety of game genres we had previously, took for granted, and now miss sorely. That's not to say I think gaming has stopped producing uniquely weird games, but I do feel that there is much less out there than before. And that alone makes me all the more inclined to reach out to these kinds of games even more, and after 2 years I'm glad I can finally talk about NoStraightRoads. NoStraightRoads is an action-adventure game developed by Metronomik and published by Sold Out Sales. You take control of our two protagonists, Mayday and Zook, of Bedbunk Junction, as they try to reclaim Vinyl City from the clutches of the NSR, NoStraightRoads, a group that believe the world's music should solely be EDM and that rock and roll has no place in this world. Basically, you're building an underground rock band that rises up against the man and their sick techno beats. It's pretty neat. But there's a lot more to the game than this simple premise. If you love music and you love driving to beats whilst gaming, there's but one road for you. In NoStraightRoads, the core gameplay loop is the boss fights and replaying said fights to get a better score. And because each boss has their own theme and mechanics, your first go at a fight might not yield a score you're proud of. But that's okay. This game is all about learning attack patterns which you can then later use to your advantage to finish a fight faster. Now the two playable characters, Mayday and Zook, each have their own playstyle and learning their mechanics will get you a lot farther than simply button mashing the attack button. Mayday, for example, is great at charging in and dealing heavy but slow blows, whilst Zook's player must press the attack button to the rhythm of the beat, and it will allow you to drum up a chain of attacks in quick succession. Besides the basics, you can apply stickers found throughout the game's overworld to our duo's weapon of choice. Some of these stickers will either increase damage, movement speed, or even increase the parry radius for the player. Like I mentioned, this helps you beat fights faster. You can also apply mods, which enable you to use skills that can be really helpful when in a pinch or if a baddie is just out of reach. But last but not least, there are ultimate duets, which brings Mayday and Zook together to create some real on-screen chaos. But of course the assists don't end there. Beating bosses gives you fans, which you can think of as the game's experience system rebranded. Using the number of fans you have, you can unlock new attack patterns, increase the number of attacks you can add to your chain, increase the amount of energy you hold, and more. These assists encourage you to replay bosses and improve your score, giving you more fans, which allows you to unlock more skills and either progress through the game or retry the boss fights on much harder difficulties. Honestly, I quite like this gameplay loop. I don't have to focus on getting fans because even though these skills are a great help, they mean little if you don't learn a boss's attack patterns. Think of it this way, you could have all the gear in the world, but if you don't know how you infiltrate your way into a base, you're as good as human paste. There's also a 2-player mode, which has proven helpful in beating one of the stages I was having trouble with. Though it is a little buggy and really only works during fights, when you're exploring the overworld, the camera still focuses on the first player, which means that the second player is left helpless as they get stuck on random parts of the map. It's not game breaking by any means, but it does look a bit silly. As you've likely surmised, this game is all about the music. The boss fights are dictated by the musical beat that play in their fights, and the overworld is swarming with style, prettiness, and beats like no other. When you're not clobbering the stooges of the NSR, you're exploring Vinyl City and finding little quasi-energy containers, which allow you to restore electricity to nearby lights or vending machines and gaining you new fans in the process. Starting the game, Vinyl City might seem small, but by beating a boss you unlock the Platinum Disc, which opens up the next area of the overworld for you to explore. And when you're not jumping around the city or going to the next boss fight, you're in Bunkbed Junction's underground sewer lair. Here is where you distribute fans for skills, apply mods and stickers, play a fun little retro-like arcade game, and much more is added as you progress through the game, recruiting denizens of the city to your rock and roll cause. Oh, and the music? It's friggin' great! You have the likes of James Landino, Andy Tunstall, Folko Young, Shota Nakama, and more of Citus, Tekken, and Kingdom Hearts fame. Each composition really reflects the world, and each head honcho you go after, listening is a requirement for both pleasure and for making sure you don't lose half your health in one hit. NoStraightRoads is a project that I've looked forward to playing for a long time, and it's clear that a lot of love has gone into this game. From the animation work to the music and the colourful world of Vinyl City, this game is so stylishly pleasing. Oh, and the voice acting is a treasure. During my time with the game, I had a lot of fun tackling the challenges thrown my way, though at times I did feel that the game sometimes didn't do a good job of indicating what the player should do next. One could argue that's part of learning a boss, but I think that involves both visual and audio indicators, and I don't feel the game does a particularly good job of pointing out the former to the player. I also ran into some bugs and glitches, one of which resulted in me losing out on a hard mode win in one of the fights. These issues weren't common, but they certainly frustrated me, especially if you lose out on what should have been a recorded win. But even with these issues, NoStraightRoads was really fun to play. Metronomik's first game in my eyes is a hit that blends so many unique and weird styles. I never felt bored playing, and I think you won't be either. Hopefully, if NoStraightRoads is successful, we'll see more titles not just from Metronomik but from other developers in parts of Eurasia not known for gaming. Oh, and let me be controversial for a moment. Video games will continue to be the shining example of why video game music is better than real music. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to check out the rest of our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and tick the little notification bell so you can be alerted when we drop fresh content. And we'll see you next time.